everybody, Penny here. Welcome to my kitchen. Today we are going to make my chop and go chili. Now, this can be done in a crock pot. So you can put it in the crock pot in the morning and leave it for 8 to 10 hours on low, or at lunchtime on 4 to 6 hours on high. Or you can put it in the roaster like I've done, which I'll show you in a second. And put it in the oven on 275 around 11 o'clock in the morning, and it'll be ready around 5:30. Or you can do like I'm going to do today and put your oven on 375, and it'll cook in about an hour, and you should stir it a couple of times within that hour. Now this is actually a meat-free chili, but there's loads of protein in here because we have 1 full can of black beans, which have been rinsed and drained, 2 cans of small red kidney beans. Now you can use the ordinary kidney beans. These just happen to be what was on sale at the supermarket when I picked them up. And again, those are drained and rinsed. So then I put in 3/4 of a cup of dried red lentils, which also provide quite a bit of protein. But the reason for the lentils is meat-free chili, in my opinion, tends to be a bit watery. So the lentils, the red ones in particular, because they're so small, kind of cook away and help to thicken the chili. So that's why they go in there. So there's lots and lots of protein. And then there's oodles and oodles and oodles of vegetables, starting with 2 cans of chopped tomatoes. These happen to be also seasoned tomatoes, which is fine. And 1 can of tomato paste, the whole can. And then in this bowl, I have already chopped, because you don't need to sit and watch me chop for half an hour, 3 stalks of celery, but I have a small one, which I'm going to show you. 2 full containers of fresh mushrooms. I would not recommend tin mushrooms for this because it is a meat-free chili. The mushrooms give it a sensation of meat. There's something in mushrooms, I don't know the name of it, but it gives you the sensation of meat, and it helps give that flavor. So that's why there's 2 containers of fresh mushrooms sliced up, which I'm also going to have a little demonstration for you. Then we have 1 onion, and I have an onion here that we're going to chop. I have 1 full red pepper, all chopped up, and I'm going to demonstrate with a green pepper. And then I have 1 full bulb of garlic. Now I love garlic. If you don't like garlic, leave it out. If you only put in 1, that's fine too. That's completely up to you. So what I'm going to do is put this in my roaster. And I'll bring the roaster into view now in just a second. There we go. So you can see we've got all the celery and the mushrooms and the red peppers and the garlic and so on and so forth, along with the beans and the tomatoes and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to push that aside while we do our little bit of chopping. Now, there's 3 of the most important things to remember when you're chopping. 1, you need a cutting board. You need a sturdy cutting board that's not going to move. Mine happens to have like little rubber stops on the corners, which help keep it steady. But you need a good, flat, steady cutting board that's not going to move on you. The second thing you need is a good, sharp knife. Now, if your knife is dull, it seems counterintuitive, but you will actually be open to cutting yourself more with a dull knife because you will have to push harder. With a good sharp knife, you really shouldn't have to push that hard at all. And the third thing is, whatever you're chopping, get it as flat as you can so that it's not rolling around on you while you're chopping. So the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to show you with a little bit of celery. So I don't like big pieces of celery, so I normally slice it in half first lengthways. And then using your knife, you want to push down and slice away from you. You want your finger here and your thumb here on top of the blade and a really firm grip. So we're going to go slice away, and you're going to bring it back and slice away. You'll also notice that your hand should be like a claw. And the reason for that is when you're chopping, your knife should ever only come in contact with your middle finger knuckle. It should never come in contact with your fingers. So, again, claw, and you're going to push away from you, like that. And take your time. Okay? All right, so I'll just go ahead and finish the rest of that one. All right, next, I'm going to show you how to do the mushrooms. So, the stalks are good to eat. Don't throw them away, but you want to trim off the bottom edge. So, I got 2 here. And then, you're going to want to slice it down the middle, which gives you a flat and a flat. So slice it down the middle, and then you have a flat and a flat. So then you can just very, very slowly and gently. Mushrooms are so soft, you don't have to push hardly at all. So you just push down like that. It's okay, Barry, she can have the TV on. So if you hear something in the background, it's just Caitlin with the TV. No problem. So there's your mushrooms. Now, we have a thing of garlic. This one, you have to peel garlic, the skin sticks on really well. So what I normally do, blade facing away, and you take the bottom part, and with the palm of your hand, just give it one good smack, like that. And when you do that, the skin comes right off. Ta-da! Now, and again, you hold it, slice away from you. And that's it. That's your garlic chopped. Now, if you have a food processor at home, you can do all this in the food processor. Just make sure they're in like chunks, put them all in the food processor, blitz a couple of times, and throw it in the pan. You don't have to go through all these chopping skills. But for those of you who want to learn how to chop and become comfortable and confident in your chopping, then that's a good thing to do. So, this is an onion. Cut the top off. Now this is the back of the onion. This is where the root is, and sometimes there's little hairs and stuff coming out. There's no hairs on this one, which is fine, but that's the end of the onion. So I'm going to cut it, but I don't want to cut in too far because I want the root to stay there because it's going to help stabilize the onion for when you're chopping. Okay. So now notice we have a flat surface, so it's no longer rolling around on us. So now we're going to slice it down through the middle. Barry is here next to me and he's going to help me peel that onion. So you can see the skin, and then one layer in is where I normally take it all off, because the top layer after the skin is often not very nice anyway and a little rubbery. So that's what I normally do. And as you can see, a little bit of the root is still there. So it's still holding the onion together. So with your knife, again, you're going to slice away from you. You're going to slice in sections all the way through. Then we're going to turn our onion sideways. And again, using your claw, we're going to slice away and away and away and away. Okay? I'm going to just make that piece a little smaller. So again, the root is still there, so it's going to help hold that end together. So we're going to slice this way. Then we're going to slice this way, which gives us our chopped onion. There. So now we're going to do green pepper, and then we're almost done. So take your pepper, green, red, yellow, whatever you like, and slice it straight down one side. Then rotate it, slice it down another side. Rotate it again, slice it down another side, and finally the last side, and then you can also use the end. Okay, so now that we have it all in our slices, see, they can be flat, but the white parts, these parts, they need to be taken away. So you can use a smaller knife, or you can use your fingers to just kind of pluck it out. I'm used to using a larger knife, but you certainly don't have to. Take all those out. Now, again, it's on a flat surface, so you're going to slice this way. So now we have a few slices, and they're nice and flat. So now we're going to turn them sideways and slice again. Now, rather than you sitting here and watching me do that whole green pepper, I'm going to move forward to the next part. Okay? So we're going to take, and this is actually a pie pastry cutter, but I use it to lift up my vegetables so that I don't drop any and it's not messy. So you scoop them up, throw them in the pot, and we'll just do that with the rest. Throw them in the pot. Easy peasy. Okie dokie. So now we have our roaster, and we're going to put in all of our spices. Now the spices that I have are chili powder. You're going to want 3 heaping teaspoons or tablespoons of chili powder. Now when I say tablespoons, I'm talking about a kitchen soup spoon. You don't have to be specific. This isn't baking, so there's a little more leeway when you're cooking rather than baking. So when I started to do this, I thought I had chili powder in the cupboard, and I actually didn't. But I knew I had all the ingredients to make chili powder. So if you want to make your own chili powder, this makes exactly 1 cup. So you can combine 6 tablespoons of paprika, 6 teaspoons of dried oregano, 4 teaspoons of dried cumin, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 4 teaspoons of cayenne pepper, 2 teaspoons of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of pepper. And that makes exactly 1 cup. And you can store it in an airtight container like a mason jar or something like that. Okay, so we are going to add 3 heaping tablespoons of our chili powder, because it makes a big pot. This will easily serve 8, maybe even 10 people. So it makes a big pot, so you're going to use a lot of chili powder. Then we're going to add 1 tablespoon of oregano. I know there's already oregano in the chili powder, but you need a little more oomph from the oregano, not just the chili powder by itself. And then we're just going to have a little bit, not a tablespoon, of red pepper chili flakes. Ooh, there it is, red pepper chili flakes. Now, if you like things really hot and spicy, you can put in more. But if you don't like hot and spicy, then you should probably leave them out. So I add a little more because I like my chili to have a good kick. Okay, so that's the red chili, dried red chili peppers. We're also going to add Worcester sauce. So a couple of tablespoons, just a few times around your pot or your roaster. And that's that. And then we have cocoa powder. Your chili is not going to taste like chocolate, but it does add a mellowness to your chili. There's just something, it adds a something, and I can't really describe it properly. but a nice big heaping tablespoon of your chili powder. Okay.
Cocoa powder.
I'm sorry, cocoa powder. So then we're just going to mix it all up, get her all combined. And like I said, it can take all day in the crock pot. There's no meat, no dairy. So if you wanted to chop this up the night before, and I've done this a few times, and put it in your crock pot, and then leave it out overnight. There's nothing in here that needs to be refrigerated. And then as soon as you get up in the morning to go do your day trip or whatever it is you're doing, just turn it on low, leave it for the day, and when you come home, ta-da, there's supper. So I'm going to finish chopping the green pepper, put this in the oven, and as soon as it's ready, I'll be back to see you. You're pressing pause, don't you?
Okay.
Oh, hi everybody, it's Penny, back again. Chili's ready. So I can't really show you all that well, but there's a full, oh that's heavy, roaster. So like I said, it feeds a lot of people. So this was in the oven for about an hour, and it's very, very hot, but it's delicious. So we're going to top it with a little bit of cheese and a little dollop of sour cream. And there you go, my chop and go chili. Enjoy! Bye!